Hi, everybody, and thanks for joining us for the PHNX Suns post-game show brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcast, and leave us a 5-star review.
Can I hit the dislike button on the Suns tonight?
On the Suns, yes. On this video, no.
If you hit it on the video, you and I are going to fight.
No, not on the video. Not on the video.
Yeah, unfortunately for all of us here, the Suns did not get the W tonight. They fell to the Minnesota Timberwolves, 116-121. Unfortunately, it was just another one of those nights.
Let's be honest. They didn't get the W, but we did. We had a great night out here with the fans at the Dobson Ranch Golf Club. I loved it, and even though the Suns played poorly, tonight was like the Suns in the fourth quarter. It was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Listen, this event was one of a kind, to be honest, and we look forward to doing a lot more of them. It was so much fun going all the way down the bays and just meeting different people who bought tickets to the event. We had a lot of walk-ups tonight, people that couldn't buy a ticket earlier, but they had the Friday night free all of a sudden. The kids had a masterful freaking putt-putt course that was set up. I mean, Dobson Ranch, thank you so much for allowing us to do this.
Yeah, and we wouldn't have been able to stomach this game otherwise.
I was going to say, honestly, though, if you weren't able to join us this time, next time if you're in town, if we are still playing like this specifically, it definitely took the edge off.
Yeah.
I would be much more upset about this game right now had we been watching it from our studios, no matter how comfortable and cute they are. This took the edge off because we could all kind of commiserate together and poke fun at how we were feeling. So, like I said, we're probably not going to be as upset tonight just because.
I will say, though, there was one thing that upset me tonight, and that was Lindsey giving out free hugs to strangers.
Oh,
I gave out
I was like, what?
one hug.
Yeah.
I saw that hug, and I was like, what?
It was insulting.
Did I hug multiple people? I thought I just hugged Sean.
I
That's
don't think
all
it
I needed to
matters.
see was the one.
It was the one.
So I assumed you just went around hugging everybody.
Yeah, I did.
This is
Everybody
bullshit.
got a hug tonight, butts off.
Every time I try to hug Lindsey, she just squirms. And it's not like that. Don't fucking go there. It's just she doesn't like physical touch, I guess. I don't know. So
I don't know. I don't tell you.
We'll go with that.
maybe I
so.
smell. Maybe I smell.
All right. Well, let's tip things off in this post-game show by looking inside the box.
Speaking
Espo,
of
what's
stink.
in the box?
What's in the box? The screen is much further away tonight, so let me see. It was a 121-116 loss for your Phoenix Suns, and that score is extremely deceiving because they were down by as many as 24 tonight, and a lot of that story was the turnover. Suns had 19 to the Wolves 15. Points off those turnovers. Surprisingly, this can't be right, can it?
It is, surprisingly.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
25 points for the Suns off of turnovers, 17 for the Wolves. Somehow the Timberwolves managed to suck when it came to converting off those turnovers. But points in the paint, as we expected with this Wolves group. 64 points for the Timberwolves to the Suns 46, and that was the big difference tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those games, again, where they got off to a slow start and were playing from behind, and they keep getting in this habit, and I know they're shorthanded, but they've got to find a way to start first quarters better. They were down 10 at the end of the first and gave up a 35-point quarter. They held them under 30 the next three. They did a decent job after that point of being competitive, but they keep shooting themselves in the foot as far as how they're getting off to these starts in these games. And hopefully the cavalry's coming here soon because they just need to be better defensively early in these games.
The mayor hooking me up with a beverage. Thank you so much, so I can wash the taste of this bad game out of my mouth, folks. Listen, I think I understand that this team is struggling right now. The numbers almost feel like, outside the paint, obviously, like the points off of turnovers, like what?
Yeah.
It didn't feel like
Honestly, but that was all game long, though. When I was actually looking at the points off turnovers compared to the actual turnovers, I was like, this could be even worse.
It could have been.
If the Timberwolves were actually taking much better advantage of it, this could have been even worse, which is saying a lot because at one point we were down by 20-some-odd points.
But this is a game where the box score doesn't make any sense. We always joke that the math is mathing. Tonight it wasn't. The Suns shot 61% from three-point range. The Wolves, 35. This is a game that mathematically does not make a lot of sense when you look at it. Now, the Suns made a lot of those in the fourth. They had only shot a very minimal amount through three quarters. They picked up the pace in that fourth, but still, when you shoot 61% from three, most games you're going to go, yeah, that's a win.
Yeah.
But it wasn't tonight.
And that's the problem is they made 14 threes and they shot 61%. They only attempted 23. So this is a team that needs to shoot more threes than that. They need to play in paint to great. It was weird that it feels like when Sabin Lee checks in, they finally have somebody that's going to put pressure on the rim because they need more guys that can do that, and they have guys that can do that. Damion Lee got to the line 8 times. Sabin Lee got to the line 8 times. Damion Lee got to the line 5 times. And that was more than half of the team's free throws just between those two guys. So, they need to be in that attack mode. You see the points in the paint discrepancy. They just don't have the right guys that you need to make the math, even when you shoot well from three, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that it's one of those things, too, where it's at the end, those were the numbers, but throughout the game, that wasn't the numbers. Around halftime, we saw the Timberwolves leading up to halftime were at 60% from the field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, while it ended a lot lower throughout the game, we saw spurts where the Timberwolves were really knocking shots down and the Suns were not as much. They couldn't keep up in that way. No. So this is just a weird game. And honestly, though, I think the biggest thing that was sort of frustrating, and I know a lot of people in the chat are already talking about it, was just DA coming back from injury, but not really having the juice. And I think there was a specific play where he turned the ball over and then just watched it. It almost looked like he was expecting Mikhail to go get it, even though he was the one who had turned it over. And that one was the one where I saw social media kind of be like, WTF is going on.
And that in the microcosm is kind of the conundrum of DA. Instead of being the aggressor or being assertive or being, really understanding what he's supposed to do at a given time, the ball gets slapped away from him and he just kind of stands there expecting somebody else to kind of bail him out. And, just great players just don't do that. They just don't do that. If the ball gets knocked away from you, you go get it. Nobody else, you go get it. And he just stood there. And Mikhail stood there. And then the T-Wolves obviously got one of their fast break buckets off of that. And that's just, again, that's DA. Well, and I wish I could defend them, but there is no defense for that.
I don't want to hear anymore, and this isn't a knock on you. I just don't want to hear anymore a great player would do, because at this point, Deandre Ayton isn't going to be a great player.
A good player.
I want to say a good player, a good big man would do, because great feels unattainable when you watch some of this at this point. And to me, the big thing tonight, 24% of the shots for the Suns came from Mikhail and Damion Lee. They made 46% of them. 24% of the shots for the Suns tonight came from DA and D-Wash. They scored 20% of the point of the make, had 20% of the makes. That's problematic. D Lee and Mikhail should have had more of the shots tonight when they're hot like that. And I think DA spent too much time trying to get into it, and at some point they needed to cut their loss, move on, which they started doing in the fourth, and you saw that lead dwindle.
I will say the turnover obviously looks bad. The miscommunication that he and Mikhail Bridges had on that play, I think they both thought the other one was going to go get it, and neither one did. And so it looked bad for DA specifically because he's the one that turned it over. I will say I am a little more willing to offer DA some sort of, not lenience, but a little bit more of a line, because we did the same thing, or at least I did the same thing with Mikhail when I was talking about how he just doesn't look right. He looks like he's playing through something. DA, he missed a lot of shots around the basket that he normally makes, and I do wonder about the ankle, if he's fully 100%, if he is also playing through something. But yeah, you look at it, 11 and 11, 5 of 18 shooting, 2 turnovers. It was not a good night for him. First night back after the ankle sprain. I struggle with this one, because you criticize DA and you're not being hard enough on James Jones and Monty and every other piece of the equation. But then, you stand for DA and he's soft and he's weak and he's never going to be it. There's no middle ground in this conversation. It's to the point. It's to the point where I can't stand talking about DA, because no matter what you say about him, the other side is going to jump in and start attacking whatever you just said. Yeah. There's no middle ground, and it's aggravating.
And I think that's where I kind of am at. what I'm tired of is I'm tired of always having to excuse something DA is doing. And with Devin Booker, you don't really have to do that so much. Chris Paul now, obviously, you're having to kind of defend him or go at him a little bit more because, you know, he's just coming to the end of his career. But you understand what the deal is with Chris Paul. With DA, there is no excuse. And you're just like, you should be playing at a higher level than you are. And it feels like 9 in, 9 out, you know, it's just too much. It's just too much to try and defend or attack all the time. It's exhausting.
It is.
DA is exhausting. That's what he is.
The whole conversation is, and like even in the chat now, what I just said has people riled up. What was the excuse when he was dropping 4 points healthy? We criticized him when he did that. That's my point. You can't criticize him without the other side bringing up other shit, and you can't talk good about him without the other side bringing up. It's just exhausting, and I'm so sick of it.
And it's been like that since day one.
It's funny because he is exactly like the conversation around him, right? It's so inconsistent because night in and night out, you get a different DA sometimes, right? So like you're saying, you can't praise him without them bringing up when he does poorly. You can't talk about him playing poorly because they'll bring up when he plays really well. And then it's like, well, DA, can you just pick one or the other so we could just consistently talk about the positives or the negatives?
I honestly think that him and Gobert kind of are the victims of circumstance. The fact that DA was drafted number 1 and that Luka went after him, right? That circumstance by itself. If it was any other draft, we might not even be half as mad as we are at DA because there was no Luka in those drafts, right?
I don't know.
But with Rudy Gobert, 4 draft picks. He's not the fucking one that decided the 4 draft picks were going to go the other way. He's not. But because that happened,
he takes the blame.
He takes the blame a lot of everything. Good performance or bad performance, people will always put him up to that standard. Like, are you worth 4 draft picks? Are you worth the first overall pick? It's a little unfair for both of them, but at the same time, there's a level of expectation that you have to meet because that's what the fan base expects. And I think it might be a little bit impossible for both of them to reach it because they just don't have that ability to reach it.
Well, it's that, and it's the max contract, and it's the people that are clamoring to see what an offense run through DA looks like. This is it. We're seeing it right now, and this team is not good with him as the number 1 option or running offense chiefly through him.
True.
He is great in his designated role when this team is fully healthy, and that's why I'm defending DA right now, is because we did the same thing with Mikal Bridges. When they are not the number 2 option, when they're a number 3, both of them are fantastic, but they are elite role players, and that's what they are at this point. They're not number 2 options. And Ayton has been bad defensively this year. He's been unengaged. The effort was bad tonight. He just didn't look good. Like, you can say all of these things. I struggle with saying he sucks or anything like that because in his assigned role, he's better than this, and we've seen it before.
I wish we could have some kind of summit where we brought everybody together and we all just decided DA is mid, right? Meet in the middle.
Honestly, though, Espo, you might be onto something.
Well, because you got this faction that want him to be great and the other faction that said he was a bust and he's nothing, and really it's in the middle. Let's just accept he's mid, and he'll have good nights, he'll have bad nights, and that's that. And leave it be at this point.
And sometimes in the playoff, he'll go beast mode. Yeah. And that'll be great for us, but that's not the norm.
He's a good player. That's all he is. He's not great, and I would say he's like right in the mid of good, right? There are nights where he'll give you 25 and 15, but then there's other nights where he'll give you 8 and 4. Right. And that's who Deandre Ayton is right now, and that might be who he is for the rest of his career.
But for a team that's obsessed with the mid-range, I think having a mid-center is perfect.
God bless.
Dad jokes for the win.
Espo's getting booed by everyone out here right now.
So he's a monster of the mid?
Monster of the mid, yes.
Monster of the mid.
Monster of the mid.
He's an M&M.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
The real 3-peat in the chat gets it. Says, DA is a good player. We expected him to be great, like you guys said.
Yes.
Yeah. That's really what it is.
And who's that on? Us, for expecting him to be great.
Everyone involved.
Lowered expectations.
Wow.
We didn't have the sound effect today out here. Don't. Gerald, don't. Do not say what I know you're about to say.
She harmonized, and I joined in. It was perfect. And that's what did too.
Last time I sang, you guys turned it into a year-long thing, okay?
Just
enjoy this one in the moment.
Oh, wow. I'm so sorry to our audio listeners.
That one you can clip. That's fun. Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, we told you a little bit off the top about our inaugural tea party. It was presented by our friends over at Four Peaks, and it was a blast. They came out here. They had a cool little pop-up little van thing that was super cute. They handed out free samples to everybody who was here. And just want to remind you guys, got a fun little thing happening. Remember how we used to go to Four Peaks for the last Wednesday of every month?
Yup.
Guess who's back?
We took the holidays off.
Back again.
But we're back. It's official. Last Wednesdays are back at Four Peaks with everybody here at PHNX. So we're inviting you guys to come hang out with us at the 8th Street Pub in Tempe. The next one will be January 25th, and all of our shows are live and in person throughout the day. There's also beer specials, like $3.
$3 Wow Wheats. But also, we had a lot of beer out here that was for sale. Guess what the first thing that sold out was?
What?
Wow.
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 God, we are so annoying right now. Sorry, guys.
Aren't we always?
Wow.
But there's some new beer, you guys.
What?
Peaks has new beer. Yes,
What
listen.
new beer?
New beer. Recreational Juice, Dank IPA,
Dank.
Staycation Super Juicy IPA.
Oh,
Two new
Oh my God.
beers
That's
juicy.
from Four Peaks.
We got the weekend off.
Oh, we do.
We do.
Let's go.
You know, any beer can be recreational.
There we go.
It's
Super juicy.
Thank you, Shane, for adding to the show. We appreciate
DJ
you.
Father making his reappearance. On the
But just a
program.
reminder, to drink Four Peaks beer, you do have to be 21 years or older, and we ask that you enjoy it responsibly. Brittany Price in the chat said, hey, let's talk about the two Lees. All right, Brittany, let's do that.
Let's talk about Lee.
We'll start by
baby.
naming our draft king of the game. I think you guys know where we're going with this one. Tonight, our draft king of the game goes to
Keep it on the DL.
Damion Lee.
Get it?
Finished with
I got you.
31 points, 10 of 17 from the field, had 6 rebounds as well. Gerald, correct me if I'm wrong. This is a career high or a season high?
Career high.
Career
for Damion
high.
Lee. Yep.
6 of 7 from deep.
And the last one he hit helped people cover the spread at
Spread.
the very end.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
attaboy, D-Lee.
Yeah.
We literally had the folks in the bay next to us were screaming and cheering because that's the bet they made tonight on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and they hit.
I just want to say Kevin Ray was a little more than excited about that last 3. Ironically, he was like, and he hits the 3. The Suns lose. And I was like, whoa, what? He must have had money on this.
No, he's not allowed
I'm kidding.
to.
I'm kidding. K-Ray would never do that. That's the homie. He did push. They did push.
So yeah, Damion Lee. I mean, listen, I like to find bright spots in games at the very least, and Damion Lee has been a bright spot. He is enjoyable to watch, and the amount of I don't like to do like a valuation per dollar spent on players because these are human beings. But if you want to talk about a really good off-season pickup that didn't cost the Suns a whole lot, it is Damion Lee. And he probably deserves a little bit more than what he's making right now.
That's what's sad about this team and this roster is you look at the minimum guys they picked up, they hit on all of them. They got Damion Lee, they got Jock Landale, they got Josh Okogie, all of whom have been great contributors for the veteran minimum. Lee looks like a guy that can play playoff minutes if they get to the playoffs. Like the last 3 games, 22 points and 7 rebounds, 11 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, and then 31 and 6 tonight. Like he, not only is he, I think he's still leading the league in 3-point percentage at this point. But
I would think with going 6
so.
or 7
After tonight.
I would think so. But like he's been great for them on both ends, and offensively he's been able to produce despite the inconsistent role, despite guys being in and out of the lineup. He's a guy that you can plug in, and they're going to be thankful for that come playoff time for sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know what the phrase is for pound, but dollar for dollar, Damion Lee has been the best move of the offseason for the Suns.
Yeah.
That could.
I'd agree with that.
DA should be happy they don't have that stat because him compared to D. Lee would be pretty bad.
Points per dollar.
Points per dollar.
Would not look good for old DA.
Oh, man.
Dollar plus minus. It would not be pretty.
Yeah.
It'd look like Saul on our betting chart there.
It's also really easy to root for Damion Lee because, like, you know how, like, we've got a couple popular, like, well-known players who are very likable, but then we also have, like, the fan favorites. And I feel like Damion Lee, if he isn't already a fan favorite, I feel like he should be. He's very likable. Like, he's so well-spoken when he speaks to, like, the media. He gives you guys considerate answers, and he doesn't just kind of rush through and give you some BS. He's so sweet with his family every time we get to see them together, whether it's on social media or like the other night when he got his ring against the Warriors. Like, there's just so much to like about this guy. And just like his mentality stuff, some of the things he shares on his own social media page, like, he's a solid dude. I'm really glad that we have Damion Lee on this team.
Good dude, playing well. If he is not in the three-point contest, it's a sham.
He's not going to be.
He's not.
But honestly, it's total crap if he's not in the three-point contest. It should be him. It should be his two brother-in-laws and Steph and Seth because they're both shooting well. There's a storyline there because the whole All-Star Weekend's about storylines and what you can sell people on. Well, that's one, and he's shooting the lights out. You should be rewarding a guy who's playing that well. Because it's all about freaking three-point shooting. And you don't take the guy that's shooting the best in the league. It just feels ridiculous that it doesn't happen. I get it. Oh, you want marquee names. Well, jam a few marquee names in there and give Damion Lee the last spot to beat all their asses in All-Star Weekend.
It won't happen.
You would hope they'd learn from last year when Cam Johnson, I think he was second in the league in three-point percentage and somehow didn't get an invite to that event.
They were like, who?
Odds are probably against Damion Lee if that's the case. But, like, yeah, that's tough.
Horse crap.
Like, hey, Cam Johnson three-point contest. Who? Yeah,
it's not fun. But shout out to Damion Lee, our king of the game. Also, right now on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, all new and existing customers can get a no-sweat bet each day of the wildcard round this weekend. Just place any NFL bet of your choice, and if it loses, you'll get a free bet back up to $10. If you have not downloaded the DraftKings Sportsbook app, make sure when you do, you use the promo code PHNX because new customers who use that promo code can bet $5 on the NFL and get $200 in free bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with the code PHNX. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Bees in the chat asked, they said, Sabian Lee, though? Is Sabian Lee going to be this year's Bismack Biyombo?
Saban.
Oh, sorry, Saban. My bad. Damian, Saban.
Sabian.
That was my bad.
Lee.
I love Sabian Lee.
He has
Sorry.
not been around long enough for you to know his first name yet, all right?
No, I mean, I was literally reading it, but now we already have a Damian Lee, so, you know, whatever. My bad. You guys knew what I was going for.
Yes, it was your bad.
Anyway, so to the question.
To save Lindsey right now, Saban Lee. I've liked what I've seen from him. I know that I was kind of a little critical of signing him to a 10-day because there were other names out there that I floated that I thought would make more sense, but he's come in and he's been pretty seamless as far as fitting in. +6 off the bench, 12 points, shot 3 of 3, 2 assists to only 1 turnover. Like, he hasn't turned the ball over, and that's the biggest thing you need from a guard on a 10-day to just come in and handle the ball. He's been able to do that. He's not, he only played 13 minutes, so it's not like he's having a major impact. But he's looked comfortable, confident handling the rock. Like I said, he gets downhill and puts pressure on the rim. If you can just have a guy that game manages, because we know Dwayne Washington is not necessarily that. He's more of the shoot-first guy. That can help you for this short temporary stretch.
I agree, and I think it's great that he's not hurting himself.
Yes.
All right, but I think a lot of fans think that a 10-day they want somebody that's going to make they are hoping for somebody that's going to make more of an impact.
Yeah.
And because that is what the Suns need right now. And I don't know if Saban Lee's really got that in him right now. He's a good player. He's not great. He's not going to be able to really change the game for you unless you start to give him a lot more minutes, which shit. The way the season's going, who knows what the hell could happen. But I think that's what fans expect. So good for the kid for showing out the way he is and really doing his job in the moments that he gets a chance to. But I don't know if he gets extended after this 10-day if they make another move, which I don't think they will. So he has a good shot of staying on the team.
Start saving on Monday. I mean, I don't think there's any reason not to. You know what Dwayne Washington Jr. is going to give you.
Mm-hmm.
You know he's going to shoot. It's going to be hit or miss depending on the game. That sounds like really shitty basketball now. He's going to shoot and he's going to hit or he's going to miss.
Analysis.
You heard it here first.
But you know what I mean, that he runs hot and cold. I'd like to – you got nothing to lose. Put Saban out there as your starter. See if you can get off to a faster start with having a guy that looks to distribute and protects the ball there to begin the game. I mean, I want to see that just to see if there is anything here.
Yeah, he's been productive. He has, through his first 2 games, he has 20 points in 28 total minutes, and he shot 5 of 7 from the field. So he's been pretty good for them. 6 assists to only 2 turnovers. I like what I've seen so far. Again, he's not coming in and changing the course of the game, but if you can have someone who can orchestrate a little bit of offense, that's a good thing.
Gerald, somebody in the chat, Adam and Tosh said your hoodie is super awesome. You want to show it off a little bit for everyone at home?
Yeah, I'm one of like 8 employees here that wore this hoodie tonight.
Because it's a little chilly out.
Yes, it is.
Where can you get that, Gerald?
You can get that at gophnx.com. We have a lot of great merch over there. You can also, if you sign up for a membership as a diehard, you get special merchandise and you get discounts on that merchandise. Plus, you can read all of my content that is behind the paywall for diehards only.
That's the only reason Gerald wanted to read that.
Look, it wasn't really meant to be an ad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that to all of you guys, but somebody did really compliment your hoodie. And our hoodies are super dope, though.
Dude, they're also hella comfortable.
Super comfortable.
Yeah. And if you want to skip a few clicks, go to phnxlocker.com, and that'll save you a
But
few
if you're a
clicks.
diehard and you get into the merch through the diehard app, then you get it at a discount.
Yeah, you're going to get you 20% off.
And these things are softer than you guys in the chat think DA is.
Softer
Oh,
than
hey now. It'll get
AKA softer than baby shit.
Marketer right there.
It'll get
Add
you
it to
0
his
points and
resume.
0 rebounds,
It
but
is
you'll be damn comfortable.
Soft as Charmin.
Dear God. Okay, let's get back on track. So we do have some more things to talk about around the Suns, okay? Brian Windhorst came out the other day, I think it was yesterday, and in this video he talked about ownership within the Suns organization and who's really pulling the strings. Let's hear what he had to say.
I mean, right now at this point, Malik, I'm going to chop it because any game where they don't get a player injured, yes, is a good night. The problem, we know that they've got Jay Crowder sitting out. You know they're desperate for players. So you're saying, why will they not trade Jay Crowder to get help? And the reason is they've got 3 quasi-owners, like nothing I've seen before in my 20 years covering the NBA. They have Sam Garvin, who is the acting owner right now for Robert Sarver, who is in the middle of selling the team because he is suspended. But while Sam Garvin has said he has the authority to make trades, he actually doesn't, because under the rules that the league put down under the suspension, Robert Sarver is allowed to say yes or no to any trade for a player that makes over $10 million, which is who Jay Crowder is. Any trade almost certainly has to go on Sarver's desk. Meanwhile, Matt Ishbia is going to try to take control of this team within the next month. I'm not sure that the league is going to get through with their vetting process, but he's hoping to get control of the team ahead of the trade deadline so he can have a decision on who the trade is. So the Phoenix Suns front office, James Jones, is trying to help his team. He's got different people saying yes or no that he's got to sign off on. It's very, very difficult for them to get something done, not to mention the trade market's tight.
Like nothing I've ever seen before in my 20 years of covering the NBA. Lord have mercy, can we catch a break?
And he had a better description of it on his podcast. He talked about it there, and he described it as if the Phoenix Suns were LaGuardia Airport, and you're trying to take off in a snowstorm.
Oh, God.
And that the conditions have to be exactly perfect for them to figure out how to get a trade accomplished.
Not LaGuardia.
But there is hope because he says Ishbia is trying to take over before the trade deadline. I think that is your one true hope to have anything there. But I think it's slim to none, which means now we're trying to take off in a snowstorm, flying blind, and hoping James Jones can thread that needle where Robert Sarver, Sam Garvin, and maybe Matt Ishbia all say yes to it.
It's a nightmare, man.
That ain't gonna happen.
It's rough. I have like 5% hope that they make a trade of significance before the trade deadline at this point, and even that feels optimistic. If this is the case, if this is what we're actually dealing with, and Sarver still has approval, and everybody doesn't know who to talk to on the Suns, like, we're screwed.
Yeah, let me say it straight to the camera. Fuck you, Robert Sarver, for putting him in this situation. Because you're not only screwing him this year, you're screwing him in the future. And it could very well mean that Devin Booker doesn't have the true shot at a championship that he deserves, because you're going to play whatever stupid mind game you're trying to play. Put Matt Ishbia in a position to succeed. Just because you couldn't figure out how to pull it off doesn't mean you should screw the guy that's paying you $4 billion for the franchise.
Also, not just the guy who's paying you $4 billion, but how about everybody else? How many times have you talked about caring about this community? Well, screwing over the franchise that we all love does not show that you care whatsoever.
Well, and supposedly him and Book have a good relationship. Well, you know what you're doing? You're giving him the finger by doing this. It's not helping anybody. I think it's horse shit.
The finger.
He's giving him the 11, all right? That's what he's doing.
To add some lightness to the conversation. No, but for real, though, this is outrageous.
He never gave a shit in the first place.
Come on.
He didn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit about this.
Yeah, but the press releases say he does.
He doesn't give a fuck about any of that stuff. Like, let's be real. He's petty. He doesn't like it. He doesn't want this franchise to succeed unless he's at the helm. He's bitter about the fact that he's getting removed, and he wants this franchise he wants it to flounder. And he hopes it does. He's going to hand it off for $4 billion, and he's going to hope it falls apart. And it's hopefully Matt Ishbia is not going to take the bait, and he's going to be able to make some moves and put people in the position to succeed. And honestly, the fact that Matt Ishbia is really clamoring to try and take ownership before the trade deadline, it means a lot to me, because it makes me feel like at least somebody's got their head in the game and they really want this franchise to succeed. So I'm optimistic about the future, regardless of the limitations we might have here in the short term. It makes me feel good that at least we have an owner that is going to want to invest in this franchise and really get it to a level that's worthy of an NBA championship contender.
But the league should reward that. They should look at this and go, okay, we understand the reality of this. Let's expedite this as much as is prudent. We don't want to okay a guy that could have problems, but you know that they've been looking into him for a while. If you feel comfortable, make sure it is done prior to the deadline so you're not handcuffing your latest partner of the 30 partners that are NBA owners.
I really worry that they gave him that little clause in the agreement or whatever as far as selling the team to get him to sell the team. Like, okay, if you sell the team, you can still be petty and have this one little thing. I worry about that, and that's why I'm not optimistic that anything changes unless they're able to expedite this process somehow.
Do you really think that was how it went down? Because, like, in a perfect world, wouldn't it have been like, we don't think he's going to sell because he's so petty, so we're going to put this clause in to at least allow him to have control, and then when he did decide to sell, then it became a thing?
I think the way that the NBA has handled this, it wouldn't
step
of the way has been hesitant to do what needs to be done to get a guy out of the league that clearly needs to be out of the league. I think if they really cared about distancing themselves from Sarver, they would never have given him authority over a franchise that he is no longer going to be the owner of.
I think this is much simpler than that. I think when they wrote this was when he was suspended. And they went, how do we avoid getting sued for this step? No. And this guy is, for better or worse, the guy that signs the checks. Yeah. So if you don't give him some kind of oversight on spending, there's probably a lawsuit that happens. And I think that's why this clause is in there, because in the end, they wanted to avoid any kind of legal ramifications that came with the punishment. And I think that's why that showed up in there.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, God forbid James Jones goes crazy and trades away Devin Booker or something like that, and then Robert comes back and it's like, I would have never okayed something along those lines. Now who's on the hook for fixing that? Or
they find a way to add, $100 million in future salary, right for expirings, and then that compounds with all of the luxury tax, and if he doesn't sell, he would have been on the hook for that. And I don't think they wanted that to be possible, because that would have led to issues. He needed some oversight.
Poor guy. Can you imagine if he had to pay a couple extra million before he gets his $4 billion payday?
But I think this was more. I don't think they thought he was going to sell.
No,
I
think they thought this guy's going to fight. Going to buckle down. He's going to either serve this year or fight us on it, and we can't have anything in there that's going to give him something to sue.
Mark in the chat said NBA took half measure when full measures were required. That's 100% what they did. And this is the reason why we're in this situation. If you would have just like forced the hand and said you have to sell the team, we wouldn't be in this situation in the first place because that clause wouldn't be there. Maybe the NBA would be the one who would be the managing partner. I will knock it over, I promise. I won't knock over your beer, I promise.
I was like, oh my God.
I do talk with my hands a lot, though. But maybe we would be in a completely different situation. James Jones's hands would not be tied. Jay Crowder would be on a different team. We would have another body in place of Jay Crowder.
And we would
on
have
this
Kevin
team.
Durant.
That
No.
too.
No. Can we stop that? Can we
Let us live
Can
in
we
fantasy
stop
land.
It's sarcasm.
Okay.
Jesus.
Well, half the internet still thinks it's a possibility, even though the Nets are world beaters.
We were fucking promised, Espo, all summer. Big moves are happening. Man, nothing fucking happened. Still bitter.
Well,
I thought we were over that now.
a 43-page report did happen.
We
dare you.
signed Damion Lee.
How dare you underestimate my pettiness?
I feel like I'm over it now. I don't know if that just happened or if it happened a while ago, but now that you bring it up, like I have no feelings towards
Just
it right
second.
now.
There
I
it
got past.
I'm fine.
All it is
It is what
just,
it is.
just takes the magic of Saul to really get Lindsey over something.
No,
So,
I feel like I've been over it for a minute.
Yeah.
Like it's long gone.
It is.
I don't
I'm
know
over
that
it.
the's anything worth like
I'm over
holding
it
on
too.
to.
I just, I wanted to be petty about it.
I love
That's
that we're
I get
acting
you.
like James Jones hasn't tied his own hands before in terms of sitting on them and not doing anything. You know?
That's fair.
I don't know. I felt like it had a very little chance of happening, and even when he named the Suns, I was like, okay, if he forces his way out, there's a chance. He didn't do that.
We were
So
24 hours away from having Kevin Durant on this team.
Look,
Were we
He was
though?
on the plane.
He was ready to go. Like
that's
it was spoken into the universe. We were told on Twitter that big moves were happening.
Look, let's be honest. Phoenix is the ultimate leverage play.
They are.
Phoenix gets used. Cardinals fans, Sean Payton is using you. He's trying to get somewhere else and get $20 million. He's using you. Just like all these other people in sports have used Phoenix to get somewhere else. That's what goes on here.
Sometimes I hate Espo.
For being right?
Just let me live in my dream.
I mean, you can live in your dream
like
if you want to be
fun.
disappointed.
It was fun in the summer to fantasize that KD was going to be a Phoenix Sun. And it didn't happen, so now I'm a little bit bitter. But you know what? The ride was fun.
To quote the great philosopher Bain, there is no true despair without hope.
Yeah, but you know what? When you ride a roller coaster and you're having a fucking great time, who cares if you throw up afterwards?
I mean, I do. I don't want to throw up.
The ride was fun. Let's go. And that's how I feel about Sean Payton, too.
I would have loved to have heard how you hit on women.
Stop taking a hot toddy on my dreams.
That's not that. What?
I don't understand
I
what's
don't think that's what a hot toddy is.
No, I don't believe it is.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, shit.
No, it's not that either. Don't worry.
Don't look it up.
I think we should probably reset. And we're going to reset by telling you about our friends over at More Furniture. They have fantastic furniture. Every single piece of furniture that you need for your home or your office or anything of that sort, you can probably find it at More Furniture. Not only is it easy and beautiful and comfortable, but they also have white glove delivery, making it even more easy on you. You don't have to worry
I
about
believe
moving
that's called
things.
easier, Lindsay.
Whatever. I'm tired and I'm cold, and when I get cold, my brain stops working, okay? My fingers literally feel like they're frozen, and I know it's only like 60 degrees out here. Whatever, don't yell at me.
Wait, it's a More Furniture ad. You were saying MOR easy.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha. All right, there we go.
Espo.
Gotcha.
Anyway, you can save big on the best furniture in the valley when you head to morefurniture.com. That's morfurniture.com.
And I believe I'm doing an ad now.
You are. Let's see what you got, Espo.
Octane Raceway. If
You are full of gas.
I am. I don't move fast though. Those carts though do. And if you love a good time and moving fast, Octane Raceway's got you covered. Head out there. They're easily and conveniently located up there on the 101. And I love going out there. Right, the indoor-outdoor track is one of my favorite things about there. I've been to a lot of these racing places. Go with my nephews who love it. But the track there is one of my favorite that I've ever ever been on. And if you have a competitive bone in your body, even a small one, you're going to go out there and you're going to want to kick somebody's ass on the track. I mean, we got out there and we wanted to beat everybody. It's a lot of fun. Head out there to Octane Raceway. You'll enjoy it. Your kids will enjoy it. You'll act like a kid. It's a great time.
Yes, and also you can watch the big game at Mavericks with dozens of 4K televisions, 20-foot Jumbotron, 5,000 square foot restaurant featuring a chef-curated menu, craft beers, and custom cocktails. They have so many different packages for the big game over at Mavericks, so check it out. You can enjoy the Super Bowl experience at Mavericks. Book in advance, though, at mavericks.com/thebiggame. You know what's surprising? Espo loves Underdog Fantasy, but yet he won't let us live over here in our fantasy world, which doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense at all.
It literally does not make sense, Espo.
There's a difference here because with Underdog Fantasy, you win. With your fantasies, you just lose and wind up disappointed.
In our minds, we
you
win.
wind up disappointed.
In our minds, we
I'm
win.
going to do a pick 'em. I'm going to go higher.
How do you know if I lose in my
disappointment.
fantasies?
Okay, now we're getting a little way too off track on this one.
I don't like
Bringing it back to Underdog Fantasy.
He really thinks he's in my
the
head.
place that does daily fantasy sports
It's
different. Also combines fantasy sports and the potential to win money. Underdog Fantasy is a heck of a lot of fun. You can play it solo. You can play with a group of friends. You can play with any type of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it may be. So you don't have to get a whole group to commit to an entire season.
The solo fantasy is a little sad, though.
But it's still fun. It's easy to get started. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com or download the app. But make sure you sign up with the promo code PHNX, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. You guys, we are a mess today.
This is called fun, Lindsey.
Who's this we?
This is called
Sitting
fun.
in the middle catching crossfire.
Stuck in the middle.
Espo talking to himself. Fantasy of one, please.
Listen to code. Please listen to code. Stop embarrassing Lindsey in public, guys.
I agree, Code.
For one time.
Oh
Just
my
stop.
goodness.
Oh my God.
Man.
Y'all
I
are a
got the
hot
giggles
mess.
right. I didn't even take an OGs, and I have the
know.
giggles. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
We did get a super chat from Sean. Sean, thank you for your super chat. He was out here hanging out with us at our inaugural tea party.
You
Said,
got to read the full name. It's Sean Marks.
I only ever read the first name.
Yeah, but this
But
is
just in case.
This is an important
This is
name.
fair.
Yeah, Sean Marks is the GM of the Brooklyn Nets.
He said all the clothes are super comfortable, and that is true. He was talking about Gerald's sweatshirt. Speaking of being out here tonight, I do want to do one real quick shout out to Dobson Ranch Golf Club, all of our partners and all of our friends who came to hang out with us tonight.
You want me to go
just
down
like
the list
Sean.
real quick?
I mean, if you want to,
We got West Coast Scooters. We had Dairy of, what was it? The Dairy of
The Arizona Milk Producers.
There you go, Arizona Milk
Here,
Producers.
it's on
There
the
you go.
cup.
Look at these sweet cups.
Yeah, Arizona
They're
Milk
amazing.
Producers, OGs, Mountain Mikes, Chop Shop, Stretch Lab,
Oh, can I say?
Four Peaks.
Can I say something about Stretch Lab? I think I'm
both
signing
of
up.
us.
Yeah,
It was
I did it too.
unbelievable.
Did you?
I did it too.
Oh my God. It was unbelievable. 15 minutes.
It was literally like the best parts of a massage combined with stretching. And I was
Without
like,
the awkwardness. too.
Yeah. Yeah. It was awesome.
But no, it was super fun. There were so many people out here today. We were playing golf on the range. We had the closest to the pin, challenge. We did the 3-point challenge. Y'all, I walked up real quick, did a granny shot,
Lindsey-
and I was this
Lindsey
close.
almost made it.
So close
Lindsey
to
almost
making
made it.
it.
I was like, oh my God.
And there was
Lindsey's
like
gonna be the
no
only one.
setup or anything. I would,
Yeah.
oh man, that would have been the greatest day ever.
I did feel like that 3-point shot was a little longer than a normal high school 3-point shot.
So you're saying we need to get a measuring tape out here?
I felt like it was close.
It was good, but it was also kind of in the dark, so you didn't really have
It
good
was.
depth perception. So a lot of people were like just throwing the ball over the hoop, missing it by like 10 yards. Like it was not pretty. Only one person made it out of like 50.
Saul, I do my best work in the dark. So,
Jesus Christ.
So anyway,
Basketball
back to
wise.
the inaugural PHNX Tee Party. It was a blast, and we just honestly want to say thank you to everyone who came out here and made it so much more fun and enjoyable. I shared some pictures on my Twitter. I didn't get pictures with everybody. I probably should have. I really wanted to try and get one in every single bay.
Lindsey was a social butterfly tonight.
She was.
I was
Surprisingly
so
enough,
proud
I
of
was.
you. I really was proud of you.
I started with some of our friends in one bay, and then I was like, you know what? Let me just get 3 of these bays, which was like 4 to 6 people in each one. It was nicely like spread out too, because you could have like your group of friends, or we had so many people come and just chill at our bay and like join our game, and it was super fun. But I shared some pictures on my Twitter. So if you guys want to look at it and then be really sad that you didn't come, and then that inspires you to come to the next one,
Shout out to Sean.
Use that motivation.
Sean, who dropped us a chat. He was sitting in the bay with me. Him, his wife, his kids were out here. Had a lot of fun with them. So thanks for coming out, Sean.
Sean, a bunch of our other diehards were through here. It was a phenomenal time. Listen, I can't speak enough about how when people first come out here to these events, it's like they don't understand what we're really trying to do, and then we teach them and we talk to them, and it's just that buy-in. And then they usually bring back a couple more people for the next event, and then it keeps growing and growing. So become a diehard. Come kick it with us at these events. Listen, we're pretty much completely different than we are on these shows. Like we're actually nice people. Like you come up to us, like Lindsey gives hugs. Like I'll shake your hand and say, "Hey, how's it going, buddy?" You know what I mean? Like it's just a great time, and it's about community. That's the thing we've been preaching since day one. It's about community. Whether you hate DA or love him, it doesn't matter. We still love you regardless. We just want you to be a part of this big Suns community and big PHNX community, and that's the beauty of the events like this. We get to hang out, just kick it, and have a good time, and talk ball and hit golf balls.
We're not just going to sit behind the mics and not ever interact with you. It's what the chat's about. It's what these events are about.
Yep.
You're part of this. We're in it together. So thanks for everybody.
Not to put you guys on the spot, but what are we thinking for the next gathering? Do we at least have a month in mind?
So I do believe in February we will be doing not only another one of these events, but we'll be doing another takeover.
Ooh, nice.
At the Suns game. It looks like it's probably going to be the 24th against OKC, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
We're still working the details.
And we got a couple big announcements coming up too in general, so stay with us for those.
Can I just go ahead and announce it even though we don't have a graphic?
No.
Damn.
We'll do it on Monday.
How much work I'm putting into this?
No,
Absolutely
not that.
No,
not that one.
Dog.
Oh, okay.
Not that one.
Monday.
Not that.
Bro.
Monday.
Oh, Monday.
We have a graphic for Monday,
You can do
right?
that.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to cue our producer because I knew she didn't have the graphic.
Okay, well, I just needed. You said we didn't have a graphic, so I was just.
That's my bad. I meant we have a graphic. We just need to show it. But on
Guys,
Monday,
I've got secrets I'm keeping.
On Monday, we have something really cool. So Monday we play the Memphis Grizzlies, and it's MLK Day. So I think it's apropos that we do our pregame show live from an MLK event, and we're choosing to do it at Marcos Deniza High School, live from the MLK Dream Classic. Marcos has been gracious enough to host us. We'll be there for this MLK Dream Classic, and we'll be previewing the Grizzlies versus Suns game. But more importantly, we will be live during a phenomenal basketball game, the number 1 versus number 2 women's basketball teams in the state, Desert Vista versus Xavier. It's going to be lit. Xavier's coached by Jennifer Gillum, who used to be with the Mercury. And I forgot her name, but she plays for Desert Vista. Her name's Justice. Dang it. I want to say Robinson, but I could be wrong on that. Anyway, she's expected already as a freshman at Desert Vista and being the top dog there. She's expected to be a top WNBA pick when she does declare at some point down the road. So it's a phenomenal event. We couldn't be more proud to be associated with something like this, and we'll have some guests on as well to just kind of commemorate MLK Day as well, because it's an important one not only in the NBA but also in the world, and I'm looking forward to it very much.
And stay tuned. There's still more announcements coming.
We'll have another big announcement on Monday when we actually get a graphic made.
Gosh, so many announcements. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a choice here. We can either say goodbye now, or we can do what would have been a producer surprise, but now it's a Lindsey surprise.
Lindsey surprise.
Let's go.
Oh,
Okay.
snap.
Oh,
she is a social
I wasn't
butterfly.
ready for
Look at
this.
me.
What's going on with her?
Look at her spread her wings and
I
fly.
know. She's a peacock. You just
It's
got to let
because
her
we have
fly.
2 days off so I can crawl in my cave and recover. Okay. This has been going around on social media, so I did not come up with it. I just screenshotted it.
Okay.
Would you rather be trapped in a mall for 24 hours with a silverback gorilla or 5 black mambas? In this scenario, for us, they're actively trying to get you.
This is easy. It's one silverback.
Yeah.
Because you got one thing you got to worry about, and it's you can hide. Like, you're in a mall. There's places to hide. I'm going one silverback, not 5 things I got to worry about that can pop out at any moment.
Oh, no, it's
Really?
definitely the Mambas.
Really?
Dude, a silverback, you're not running from a silverback, and you could try to hide. That motherfucker will break down the door and come after you. There's not a single door anywhere in that mall that will protect you from a silverback.
Look, I have thought about this. Like, I've thought the scenario, zombie apocalypse. I'm going over to Fiesta Mall, and I'm hiding out in there.
No.
Plenty of places to hide.
And probably not a lot of people either.
No.
I'm
So,
talking
yeah.
Mambas.
5 of them, though?
Dude,
See-
I'm jumping over them.
Did you not
so fast.
Did you not see Snake in
They're
a plane?
literally faster than probably the silverback. 100%.
And Saul gets bit right in the ass.
I'm jumping over
Dude,
them, he says.
First of all, like, I'd rather get bit and die than get my limbs ripped the fuck off my
Well,
body.
if you just started with your head, you'd be fine. It'd be real fast.
Yeah, I feel
I'm
like
just saying you would.
okay. I feel like getting bit
It
and
would be real fast.
I feel like getting bit and having to deal with poison is
Oh, that
worse
would
than
hurt.
getting ripped
yeah,
apart.
and you know if one caught you,
Rip
the other
their head
4.
off like it was no big deal.
No, the gorilla would. If it took yours first, it'd be real fast,
How
real
do you
painless.
know that?
Well, you just said if
I
he
take
ripped
my
all my limbs
chances.
off, and I said, well, if you took
no.
your head first, it'd be fast.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, it's definitely the gorilla because at the very least, like in like the mall, like all
Jersey
the
Robinson
stores.
is the name of the Desert Visitor player. Jersey Robinson. Thank
There you go. And all the stores, they have like the lock cages, right? That actually shut down the stores. At the very least, you could buy yourself 10 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe, until it finds you and like rips it open, but you get a break. The little snakes could just like slither right through those things.
And let me
You get 0 breaks.
If I close the door, a snake's not getting through the door.
No, but in
I'm
a mall,
safe.
a lot of them have like the chain link
Yeah,
things.
the gates. It's
It's
not
like
all
gates.
doors.
We're
yet.
talking about in a mall.
Yeah, but those
specifically.
gates, those gaps are only like this big.
And I bet
Have
you
you
we could
seen a
fit through
snake?
there. Have you seen a
it-
snake?
Go to the bathroom and close the door in the bathroom. Those aren't great. Those aren't greats.
I don't know.
I'm solid.
Then it goes through the air vent. I'm not dealing with this. I've seen
a
snakes on a
snake
plane.
is going to the air vent
Have
now?
you seen snakes on a
Yes.
plane?
Does
Gerald.
it crawl up the wall now?
Oh, you should see snakes on a plane, my friend.
No, I'll get on the escalator and watch these stupid little motherfuckers try to crawl up the goddamn escalator and fall in and just get grated up like Swiss cheese.
Bro, you're gonna die immediately.
No way.
Saul's the first
Can-
to die.
Can I clarify something? Are we stuck in this mall, or can I simply leave and
No,
burn
you're
the thing down?
24 hours.
24 hours.
24
you have to
hours.
I'm stuck for
survive in the
24
The
mall.
hours.
silverback is for sure killing you.
Okay.
You have no chance.
5 mambas? Are you 5?
Dude, you think a chain link fence is going to stop you from a gorilla?
Bro, you
A
are out of
silverback?
control.
A silverback would just rip that thing off like, oof, and then just kill you.
All right. I would say.
You are out of control.
I will say I'm taking the silverback, and here's why. After years of covering the Suns at the expense of my own mental well-being, it is only fitting that I die at the hands of an actual gorilla.
Oh my God. Oh my
taking-
God.
I'm taking the gorilla. I'm naming him Go, and that's how I'm going to go out. That's it.
He's gonna
Oh my
take your remains and slam them through the hoop at the
He's going to
sporting
dunk me
goods.
through a wheel of fire
Yeah,
in the
it's
mall.
Your only chance of surviving a silverback attack is if you like taught it sign language and tried to communicate with it. What was the name of the
Planet of the Apes.
No,
Okay,
Jesus
can
Christ.
we
In real life, there was a gorilla that knew sign language and it then passed away. It was really sad.
Yeah,
Robin
Caesar.
Williams. Robin
movie?
Williams is like best friends with it.
I know what movie you're talking
Not
about.
Caesar. This is a goddamn Planet of the Apes, Gerald.
No, they made a movie about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that movie. The movie Saul's talking about.
They made like 6 of them that Gerald's talking
Damn it,
about.
Gerald.
He walked right into that one. I was like, no.
By the way, I think there's another important thing here. Is this an empty, deserted mall, or is this a mall
You're
that
overthinking
has
this,
everything
dude.
in the stores? No, because then I have weapons, right?
Yeah.
And I might be in on the stakes if I have something that I can actually try to fend off.
Yeah, just walk into
snakes
Dick's
with.
Sporting Goods, get some bats, and just whack
Can
those
we all
motherfuckers,
just
man.
agree that regardless of what option we choose, it's just a matter of time before we die?
You guys.
Like
Coco,
we're talking
thank you. Yes, Coco was the
We are
actual
talking-
real silverback.
24 hours
Should be
with
like
whatever
Apple.
option you choose actively hunting
Sweet.
you. We're 100% not
Banana.
making it out. Like, there's
mean-
no chance.
Yeah, probably not.
So it's just a pick your poison kind of
and I would,
situation.
Well,
I would
literally,
like
if
to
you
not
pick the
have the
snakes.
poison.
You'd rather not have the poison.
Not have the actual poison.
I'd rather not be writhing in pain and slow death through the poison. I think you're right there.
Because I'll peek my head out the door of my comfortable bathroom that the snakes cannot come in while I watch your guys' limbs get torn and thrown across the hallway.
You know what the first thing we do?
What?
We'll take all the doors off the bathroom.
Just
if
fight me.
we're going down, you're coming with us.
Oh, man.
All right.
Well, this
let's
has
land
been a
fucking
show.
plane.
Thank you guys. If you've made it this far, we love you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys as always. We have 2 days off in a row from Suns basketball, and it happens to be a Saturday and Sunday. We hope you guys have a fantastic weekend.
Weekend, baby. We got a weekend. Let's go.
Make the most of it. Distract yourself a little bit from Suns basketball. Just take a break. Do something else that brings you some joy. But then meet us back here on Monday. Pre-game show, post-game show for you guys. It's a little bit of an earlier one on Monday, 4 p.m. So we'll see you then. And until then, you can follow me on Twitter at Lindsey Smith AZ. You can follow Saul at Saul_Bookman. You can follow Gerald at Gerald Bourget. And you can follow Espo at Espo. Espo, take us home.
Remember, the disgraced future former owner of the Phoenix Suns has one thing and one thing only that makes him happy: stealing our joy. Ahoy, hoy!
Never gonna let go. PHNX though, Lindsey, Gerald, Espo. Saw past the ball, we here to turn up the tempo. Got to understand me, I'll always rep the family. Rally in the valley like Dan G, no plan B. Always on the job, my team move like the mob. Turn the